Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and hello for the first time if you are new here. I am Sarah and you can find me anywhere on Sarah of Horror, and here on my channel I review movies, TV shows and other things I find interesting to talk about. But yes, spooky season is here. It's my favorite season of the year. Love Halloween, my favorite holiday, but to me Halloween is like every day. But I do get a little bit more crazy about it during September and October, of course. So I thought that for October, between October 1st and 31st, I will review a horror movie every day. So it's like the horror movie challenge, but for my YouTube channel. But last year I started reviewing Tales from the Crypt season 1. And my plan was to review season 2 for October. But I wanted to do the 31 horror challenge. So I thought, why not review the Tales from the Crypt season 2 this weekend? So today that is exactly what I'm doing. So today I will release part 1 and tomorrow I will release part 2. And then the horror movie madness will start October 1st. So if that sounds like your thing and you're excited about it, hit the like button and also subscribe to not miss it, and please hit the notification bell because then you will be notified whenever I release a new video, so you don't want to miss it, right? But yeah, also Butler says hi, of course, my co-host. And yeah, let's get right down to talking about Tales from the Crypt season 2. So the way I will do it, I will go through every episode one by one, and this video I will go through episode 1 through 9, and then in tomorrow's video 10 through 18, because there is a lot of episodes in season 2. Not complaining at all. It's just a big jump from season 1 to season 2. But yeah, I'm happy. So yeah, let's start talking about the first episode. Season 2, episode 1, Dead Right, directed by Howard Deutsch, starring Demi Moore, Jeffrey Tambor, and Natalia Nogulich. So in this one, we have this young woman, Catherine, played by Demi Moore, who wants to marry rich. That is basically her dream, so she goes and sees a fortune teller to see when exactly this will happen. And the fortune teller says, calms her down and says, it will happen very soon. You just have to continue, you just have to trust me. And she's like, okay. So the fortune tells her that she will meet a man and marry him, and he will inherit a lot of money. So she just has to be patient. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw season 2. So it was fun to refresh my memory. And right after that, I'm seeing Demi Moore, which is really cool, seeing her in a Tales from the Crypt episode. And yeah, I do like the vibe of this film, and this is Tales from the Crypt, so whatever happens usually happens like in a twisted kind of way. So I knew right from the start that when she went to the fortune teller, like the fortune teller's words was gonna matter, like what she was really saying. And I knew something twisted would happen. But I did like the locations, and especially the man that Demi Moore meets. They had done a fantastic job of painting or doing the mask for Jeffrey's character. And yeah, I kept looking at the masking at the makeup job, and yeah, I thought it was very cool. And yeah, they made the character to look how more felt about him. But I do like the fortune teller aspect of it. It is a fun story, never gets boring, and I think all 3 of the main characters did a really good job. And the endings is especially kind of intense, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. So yeah, I do like this one. It gets an 8 out of 10 for me. Okay, let's move on to episode 2. Season 2, episode 2, The Switch, directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, starring William Hickey, Rick Rossovich, and Kelly Preston. So yeah, this episode is directed by Arnie, and he is even featured in the intro with the Crypt Keeper. And it's a little bit of a fun gag where the crypt keeper is trying to get in shape, lifting some weights, and then Arnie comes in. Gives him some tips, tell him not to, continue, come on, do your reps. And it is a funny joke, a funny gag. So already from the start, I was like, yeah, I like this. It puts me in a good mood. So yeah, it's fun to see that he directed an episode, and also, it's an homage that is called The Switch. So I was like, yeah, this is the perfect title if he was ever going to direct one of the episodes. So The Switch is about this wealthy older man, Carlton, and who is willing to do anything for his like gold digger girlfriend, Linda. And this even means like going through this kind of new treatment to get a younger body, to be younger, because that is what Linda wants. So when Carlton goes through these kind of operations, especially like the face operation, the makeup was kind of uncanny valley, which I really appreciated. Tales from the Crypt episodes, they are kind of lessons. They always have, some kind of uh, they always teach us something, don't be too greedy, don't cheat, don't do this, or this, nasty and terrifying thing might happen. So I kind of like that. But then we, as an audience, can also figure out, like, okay, so if he wants himself to be younger, there will probably be a problem with that at the end. Even if he does succeed being younger, it will like backfire or something. And I do like all the segments between him doing a transformation, showing off to Linda, going again, and yeah, you kind of feel bad and sorry for him. And yeah, the twist at the end is kind of funny and ironic. So yeah, this is another episode I enjoyed. It will also get an 8 out of 10. Okay, moving on to episode 3. Season 2, episode 3, Cutting Cards. Directed by Walter Hill, starring Lance Henriksen, Kevin Ty. So, we have these two men who love betting and challenging each other, Reno and Sam. And it's not the usual, gambling or gamblers who love a good gambling fix. They literally take it too far every time and try to outdo each other. And yeah, one night they take things too far. So yeah, this one was quite intense, especially during a Russian roulette scene. Yeah, that is like how far they gamble. And that Russian roulette scene is intense. I'm like, who will pull the trigger? Who will do this? Because it's always, they are having the gun against your heads, and then they kind of linger. So you're like, oh, will he pull? Will he die? What's gonna happen? And you think they're gonna pull, and then something happens with it, or they lower the gun or something, and yeah. And then they take things even further, and I do like the craziness and the madness about it. And yeah, the ending is quite insane, if I may say so. But yeah, it's also the like gambling locations, casino, and the kind of underground. I like it. And also Lance Henriksen and Kevin Thai are both really good as these two gambling addicts who take it too far. Yeah, I like this one as well, giving it an 8 out of 10. Okay, moving on to episode 4. Season 2, episode 4, Till Death, directed by Chris Wallace, starring Davey Moffat, Pamela Guillen. So we have this guy, Logan. He sees Margaret, who is a very kind of upstrung, wealthy woman. And Logan owns this Caribbean villa, and he tries to seduce Margaret with this potion that he got from a voodoo priestess, because he's after, Margaret's money and fortune. And it never backfires, right? Yeah, so we have like a total new setting. It's kind of a throwback to like the type of 50s movies, that a lot of them were like set in these types of locations as well. So I can appreciate that aspect of these kind of old classic movies. And you know, the story is okay, a bit predictable, kind of knew what was gonna happen, because the voodoo priestess gives Logan very specific instructions, and you will let me know in the comments if you think that you follow those instructions. So yeah, it was kind of obvious what was gonna happen and kind of the outcome, but I did really like the look on Margaret, and she played fantastically. The makeup she had done afterwards, really cool and really just well done. Love the effects. And yeah, you know, even though I knew what was gonna happen, how the story would kind of play out, I still enjoyed it. Maybe not as much as the first three, but still a good one. And I did like the colors, the cinematography, where we had kind of a bluish, reddish kind of colors towards the end when things got a bit more intense and when Logan really realized what he has done. But yeah, I will give this one a 7 out of 10. Okay, let's move on to episode number 5. Three's a Crowd. So, season 2, episode 5, Three's a Crowd. Directed by David Burton, starring Gavin O'Herling and Ruth DeSouza and Paul Lieber. So we have this married couple who are on a vacation, trying to just celebrate and enjoy some free time together. But the man is a bit suspicious that his wife is cheating on him. We have this husband who's really paranoid, who's suspicious about what his wife really is doing with this other guy. And yeah, this episode didn't really turn out the way I thought it would, or the way I had remembered it. Rewatching this one, I didn't really have that of a good memory of it. So it was fun. It was almost like watching it new again. And I think the best thing about this episode, you know, it was definitely the climax, the reveal, the ending. It was just spectacular. Like in what way they had chose to present the thing. So that reveal was just wow. Reveal 10 out of 10. Everything up to that moment, maybe like an 8 out of 10. And because you can really feel, you know, the paranoia. You can understand the husband for sure. It's everything, you know, seems very suspicious. And, you know, there's definitely some chemistry going on with the wife and, you know, the other guy. Yeah, so I like how this episode is built up, and as I said, the reveal, fantastic. So I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. Okay, let's move on to episode 6. Season 2, episode 6. The Thing from the Grave. Directed by Fred Decker. Starring Miguel Ferrer, Terry Hatcher, and Kyle Secker. Okay, so we have Terry Hatcher in this one. You know her from Lois and Clark, from Desperate Housewives, and from some other TV shows and movies. And she plays a model in this one. And while working at a model gig, she kind of she kind of feels some chemistry with the photographer. The problem is she has a very controlling and abusive boyfriend who is also her agent. So when her agent, or you know, her boyfriend, finds out that she's cheating on him, he kills the boyfriend and kidnaps the girlfriend. Kidnaps Terry. But he soon learns that dead things don't always stay dead. So yeah, I do like how this one is edited. Like how they chose to show the story, in which order, which way. I like that. And so this one definitely stands out a little bit from among the others because of the editing and the story. So you know, I was hooked right away. I was like, you know, I want to know how this happened. And yeah, because the film's kind of spread all over, a little bit middle, a little bit beginning, a little bit ending. So yeah, I think that is this short segment's strength. And it was also fun to see Terry and I think all three of them really did a good job. Miguel was good at portraying the boyfriend, the agent. And yeah, I did like the location to where he kidnapped her to and where he killed the boyfriend. And yeah, what happens after, I thought it was very creative. And you know, I like that concept, you know, not everything that's buried stays dead. But yeah, another fun one. I'm giving this one a 8 out of 10 because of editing. Let's move on to episode number 7. Season 2, episode 7, The Sacrifice, directed by Richard Greenberg, starring Kim Delaney, Kevin Kilner, and Don Howd. So in this one, he was insurance salesman, and he murders this obnoxious tycoon to get his wife and to get his fortune. But he's then being blackmailed. So cheaters in this series, you know, it doesn't usually end well for them. At least things don't really end up the way they think things will end up. There are like multiple twists in this one, and I could kind of see it coming. Unfortunately, I still enjoyed the story, but I wasn't really as invested as I was in the other ones. And because I was thinking like the whole time, I was like, no, there's more. There's got to be like this probably, and then it kind of was. And yeah, and it was really hard to kind of to root for this couple when and you were then you were like kind of brought in to root for this couple again because of this kind of another awful thing, and I was like, no, it has to be like this. So you know, it just felt very weird. But yeah, story-wise, I think this is probably the weaker of the ones that I'm talking about today. But you know, the Crypt Keeper is still fun, and it's not a bad episode, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. It's just not as strong as the other ones. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Let's move on to episode 8. Season 2, episode 8, For Crying Out Loud. Directed by Jeffrey Price, starring Lee Ehrenberg and Katie Sagal. Okay, so we have Marty, who is a rock producer and produces music for rock bands. But things aren't going great, and he decides to steal the money that is being made from a kind of charity concert. But he starts hearing weird things inside his head. Something's wrong with his hearing, and he's trying to get rid of it, but it just gets louder and louder. So this is a fun one, a bit of a different concept with the whole ear thing, because he's at the doctor's office first, who tells him that it's like, you know, tinnitus or just some ringing, you know, that he has ruined his hearing by listening to loud music. But Marty's like, nah, it's something else. It's definitely something else. And then we get to know that it's definitely something else. It's like a literal voice. And yeah, it's kind of annoying. But the interaction between the voice and Marty, it's really fun. So yeah, I like the dialogue. And then we also have, you know, Katie Sagal in this one. And yeah, I was very happy to see her. She comes in, she has a quite impacting role. And and the whole setting is great because he is trying to take the money while this concert is happening. So everything is very loud, very intense, lots of noise, plus the voice in his head. So everything is kind of chaotic, and I like that. There was no order, it was messy, and yeah, I was really hooked. One of my favorite episodes in this video. And the way that he's trying to, you know, silence the voice, and yeah, I thought it was creative, fun to watch, and I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. Okay, let's move on to the final episode of this video. Season 2, episode 9, Four-Sided Triangle, directed by Tom Holland, starring Patricia Arquette, Chelsea Ross, and Susan Blomert. So in this one, we have this farmer called George. He's very attracted to Mary Jo, who is working at the farm. But there is a problem. and that is that she's in love with this scarecrow. Yeah, so I kind of like the name Four-Sided Triangle, and it is a very fitting name for this episode. And this episode is a bit hard to watch in times because it deals with a bit of abuse. And yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable to watch what Patricia Arquette's character like goes through, especially when like Farmer George makes these advances that are not welcomed at all, and it's very kind of uncomfortable to watch. But then we have this kind of cool and creative concept with the scarecrow, and I love scarecrow movies, especially scarecrow horror films. There are a few of them, and I do like the location, with the cornfields, and then we see, the scarecrow hanging, and we don't really know, is the scarecrow real or not? Is everything in Mary Jo's fantasy or not? And it's fun to guess. And then, get to the ending, and yeah, I really like it, and I do like this episode. And I did like the kind of countryside setting with the cornfield. And yeah, and I do like that it was a bit uncomfortable to watch, and that they kind of brought up these heavier subjects. And I do like the ending as well. Yeah. So yeah, I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10 as well. Yeah, so that was my review of Tales from the Crypt Season 2 Part 1, and Part 2 will be up tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, and for those of you who've been wondering why I haven't uploaded in a few weeks, it was because I was taking care of my cat and my mom's cat while she was in Poland at her place. And when I'm there, I don't really have, the background equipment with me. So I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna just film some more stuff when I'm back at my place, which I am, obviously. And you can see a little new family member here in the little spirit. This is spirit number 1. Yay, go spirit. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and of course, let me know what you think about Tales from the Crypt Season 2, which episode is your favorite, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have an amazing weekend, everyone. Bye!